how is everybody? How are you, Mr. Ed?
I'm alright. I'm good, Lawrence. Been back to some schedule in my life currently, which is nice. Got uni started back, so back to teaching.
Yeah,
And
welcome, of course, everybody. So we have a very spicy episode. So as you know, you voted for DEATHGUARD, so we invited a Nurgle brother from another matter. So we'll introduce to all of you, our guests a bit later. But yeah, so I just would want to thank first, of course, all our sponsors. We have OP Paints, the Play, Baron of Dice, General Games, Miniature Sceneries, and then we actually have a new one. It's called I already forgot. Oh my gosh!
guess we're losing that funding.
Of course, in our description. Give me 1 second. I already forgot. So many admin stuff to do. So apologies for that. So it is called Pluto Minis. So they actually produce nice quality 3D resin miniatures, and at the same time they also actually manufacture those WTC FDM terrains. So we'll introduce to you. I'll introduce to you this Pluto Minis next time, or maybe tomorrow. So I'll give you more details about that. And then, of course, if you haven't already, subscribe, like, and then do comment, because we do read them. So, and of course, also thank you for all our Patreons. And then, yeah, so without further ado, I will introduce to you our Nurgle guest this time. 1 second. Where is that? There you
Our
go.
stinkiest man in the lobby.
Hello. Definitely
Hello,
distinct.
Mr. Anthony.
Hello. How are we?
I'm good.
Good.
How are you?
Good. It's nice.
Yeah, good. Ready to spread contagion.
In real life or in the game? There's a right answer.
Depends.
You showered today, Mr. Anthony?
Well, I knew I had this, so definitely not.
Lawrence, they're saying turn your microphone up.
I just did adjust, so can you
Lovely.
please let me know if my mic is ready okay?
You also might be getting a little bit of static, but we'll see how we go.
Yeah. So for this episode, we would be discussing DEATHGUARD. So, you know, guys, I've played DEATHGUARD, I think, for I think the last 2 years, and then we got Anthony here as our guest. So why don't you
Yep.
tell us the journey of now? I believe you played Astra Militarum and a couple of CSM detachment before jumping in
Yeah.
DEATHGUARD.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was. Look, I did play guard right at the start, or Astra Militarum, but not for long. In the tournament scene, it was CSM for about a year and a half, and then since I was looking at it recently, actually since about April of last year, I have been playing DEATHGUARD basically nonstop. I spent about a month on a little holiday in Blood Angels, but otherwise, just stinky boys through and through. Got a nice codex in that time, so it was decent.
It was a nice
some good
codex.
rules.
I remember reading that codex and I was like, this actually has so many interesting rules and interactions. And I was looking at my Tau codex, I was like, oh, we don't get all these cool interactions like you do.
Well, I
But
like actually the
Yeah, we got the power code side.
10th edition, because it's the time I actually started to play them, when they actually gave a buff for the Death Shroud, wherein you can get 110 for 3. I actually started experimenting 18 Death Shroud with a Sorcerer Lord, right? So you get -1 damage. So
Yeah.
it's actually good.
That was the start. Yeah, the start of when I first played the army in like April or whatever it was. Index, and so it was. Yeah, I think you were running 2 6-mans of Death Shroud, one with the Sorcerer for the -wound. Oh, it was tough. That was genuinely tough.
your journey is also perfect because it's like start on the Imperium and then you've gone to Chaos, but haven't figured out your place yet, and then you've gone into the Stinky Boys. But
Yeah.
that's super interesting codex. Definitely definitely an interesting army right now as well, where it's placed in, what its roles are. I think, as we'll kind of talk about, but. No, as a Tau person, I love seeing some Death Guard. I've got good matchups into them. I think.
Yeah, you do.
Lawrence is still yet to beat me on his Death Guard, unfortunately. But
I was playing Emperor.
Yeah, I want nothing to do with that army.
Yeah, every time I see, I'm like, I know what this army does. I've got good trash. They do die to my guns.
You want some more volume from me? Okay.
They want to hear you more, Lawrence.
One?
People want more Lawrence.
I've adjusted already for like. All right, so you've been playing like Death Guard for at least a year already, over Anthony?
Yeah, maybe just under. But in that time, lots of tournaments, lots of practice. I had a look on my app, and I had like 153 games on the faction or something. So probably a year and a half's worth of games if you were normal. But
he's been grinding. He's been grinding.
At least 2 years under my belt for Death Guard.
Yeah, Lawrence claims to have a best in faction Death Guard, but I reckon Tony's got you beat.
You got it last year at Uprising, right?
Last 2024, I got
2 years.
Forum Uprising,
2 years.
And then the Rataclysm as well. So I think those were the times.
That's right. Yeah.
Morty, at least a 2x6 of Death Shroud, and Triple Predator, and then the Flame of Thrones. So it's just really super good.
Because the Preds were dirt cheap too.
Yeah, I think they are 130 points at time.
Something like that. It was like way too cheap for what they do.
Yes, and then obviously you like Morty because there's an aura of ignore modifier, so it's actually supreme.
Yeah, and he was like 300 points, and has still had the same defensive profile. So we'll take those.
The budget Primarch.
Yeah, he was trashing his rules, but by golly, could you not kill him?
If he's cheap enough, you're still taking him. But,
that's right.
No. Was he still T12 back then? I assume he always was.
He was exactly the same defensive profile as what he has now. Just he had ignore mods, and then his fighting and shooting were both pretty forgettable.
What they are, they're kind of fine. Not probably worth 380 points, which is what he is currently, but that's probably not
why.
White.
You would still argue that 380 is still very expensive, so.
He's still very good now though. Like the rule changes for him have changed the world.
They're so good. I mean, even at when we were playing in the tournament, Lawrence, you're like, oh, you exploded him, and then he fought on death as well, and you can make things happen. Like.
You can do so many things with him. It's like, okay, you charge me with your ever super good slaughter-bound unit. I'll just fight on death. So even if I die, you also die. So I don't care.
But we'll talk about Morty later. He comes later.
So
yeah.
Before actually we jump into the needs and gritty of the Death Guard, I actually would want to promote something first. Give me 1 second. So Squad Games is coming up. So list is due, I believe, this coming Monday, 9th of March. So it's I think we have 12-man team of 5. So it's looking very, very exciting. So be prepared. You have at least 2-3 more days. I don't think we will be getting any more of the data slate this week. So probably next week. So I think you should
be sad about that. Can't lie.
And then, apart from that, obviously, we also have our monthly RTTs. So we have RTT this coming Saturday. So we already have 20. We're only looking for 4 more. So if you have time, go and drop by. It's in the Scout Hall in Waverly. So just check our events Facebook page or even the riskerrollers.com.au to just check out and buy some tickets. So that's it. So maybe we can start with the presentation that was prepared by the doctor.
Thank you. So here we've got the art of coughing on your opponent's models in a friendly way. Don't actually do this, please, folks. No showers allowed. You got to spread that blessings around, obviously. So let's go. Let's keep going, Lawrence.
Sorry, sir.
So I've done some research, folks, and then hopefully Anthony here is going to correct me a whole lot or tell me about all the actual what's going on. That's the dream. But
I'm sure you're all over it.
I see the numbers, but you're an experienced veteran here, and Lawrence is going to hang out on the side. So overall, Death Guard currently seems pretty fine. They've got average win rates according to StatCheck. Goonhammer, they seem to have a slight issue in detachments in that Virulent Vectorum, which we'll talk about later, makes up the vast majority of the player base, and the other is kind of filled out by champions of Contagion, Morty's Hammer, and then Taliban, which seem to be fine, just a little bit less consistent, you could probably say. And even in Australia, as well as seems to be globally as well, but in Australia in particular, we seem to have a lot of Death Guard players. And the reason we kind of thought about Death Guard was because of the Sydney tournament. Nearly all the teams took Death Guard, and so it seems to be pretty popular team. Yeah, it's loopy. You look at it and you're like,
huge numbers.
Action on paper, and then everyone's taking a Death Guard. So we'll talk a little bit about that in a second, though. So let's get through this, and we'll get into some nitty-gritty stuff. Next slide, Lawrence. So Death Guard seems to be pretty good into a wide variety of matchups in general. Mostly melee, it seems to be pretty good into. Does struggle into factions like my own, Tau, Guard, things where you can kind of just... I can just put some cheap stuff in the center. I can shoot you off whatever you're going to put in. You don't have amazing dirt cheap assets. Poxwalkers seem to be like the main thing. As well as maybe, and then some of your hulls, they're reasonably cheap, but not really wanting to waste them. And so it's like, as long as I prep for your main damage threats, the Plague Marines, the Death Shroud, I'm in a good spot. Melee seems to probably have a bit of an issue because they have to get in close, and that's where a lot of the Death Guard thrives, I would say. Is that a reasonable assessment, Anthony?
Yep, I think that's right. One of the other big killers for Death Guard, I think, in for tough matchups is either things like when Eldar was quite good, it was tough, just because they're able to deny you primary basically against you. Like you really have no say. They just get to run at something, put something on it, and you're like you said, there's next to no chaff. And things, it can be tough to play against things with RB Downy. It depends on what those things are, but yeah, anything that is super mobile is the other sort of thing that the army can. You can get a little bit you trip over your own feet a little bit, like if you don't get it right.
Yeah, I mean you're kind of pushed on how many resources you have in general, I think, and so it's like if they've got like uppy downy Death Watch and things like that, it's hard to keep them off wall spaces. And
that's right. Well, they get to find a spot where they want to be, and they blow up one of your important units, and it feels very bad.
And it's like you kind of, even with, I find, which we'll talk about with the Death Shroud, even with the Death Shroud, you kind of know where they're going to come in a way, because it's like to get the 6-inch, they've got to get in Contagion, so things are going to happen on the board. I kind of know where it's going to come in, so you can kind of plan around Death Guard's strategies. Death Shroud Terminators, they add a lot of bit more dynamic play, I think, but you still know they're going to put these poxies forward to get me in Contagion, to get those deep strikes in. And I think Death Guard's also pretty popular because you don't ever get blown out and score that badly. Like you're always able to get scrappy and get a 10 on a teams, if you're in teams, a 10 or an 8, something like that. And so I think that's why we see it a lot in teams, probably.
Yeah, even if you trade down with the army early on, often you'll find that if you pick up a few of the units that they've got with the kind of output that picks up your key pieces, suddenly you're sitting there turn 4, turn 5 with units that they just flat out can't kill. So that's definitely, it does have a sort of swinging back end as well, where you can pull scores back, and like going second with the army's like amazing. It loves going second. But everything does. We just also do.
I mean, Tal doesn't mind going first, but Death Guard, those kind of factions, everyone else seems to love going second these days. But all right.
Well, at least your sound is good, mine is bad, so I don't know.
I think you're reasonably, your volume sounds good on our end, but maybe the viewers can tell us a bit more. It wouldn't be a risk roller stream without Lawrence's sound volume being a bit weird.
I'll buy another headset with mic already next time. Apologies, boys. All right.
Let's keep going. Let's talk about probably the main faction mechanic, I would say. Lawrence, next slide, when you can. Contagions. So for those who don't know, hopefully you know what contagions do. You start off with a little baby contagion. It has a bunch of debuffing auras. Battle Round 1, it's only a baby 3 inches, and then it gets stinkier as the game goes on to be bigger. To be big, an Aura 6 and 9. Virulent can put +3 on that as well, which is a big thing. 2 CP though. And this Aura gives you a number of effects. -1 toughness is actually really nice. Opponents being at -1 toughness, it makes you hit a lot of breakpoints oftentimes, which is awesome. And then you can pick -1 to hit, -1 to save, and then the one that is rarely ever selected, move, leadership, and OC. And then this interacts with a number of data sheets. This is a kind of pretty core mechanic, I would say. Oftentimes, if you can't get them in contagion, a lot of your stuff just doesn't hit as hard as you want it, or it doesn't do what it wants to do.
It's pretty key. Even what you just said there with the toughness being quite relevant. All your tough 4 marine body armies, your plague marines, or like a lot of your units have a strength 6 weapons that are your key damage dealing weapons. So getting them in that contagion and winning on 2s versus winning on 3s is like, it's night and day. So yeah, you're definitely correct on that. Yeah, but it also buffs your idiots, right? Like your poxwalkers and stuff. Sometimes you run into something, you're like, here's a 3 or 4 AP1 saves, and somebody fails to, and you're like, cool, got a marine. Like it pushes you over the line in some weird places.
I think that's probably one of the better things where it's like, as a ranged faction, I can just sit my threats at the back. They're not going to be in contagion, so I'm not getting your -1 to hit if that's what you're taking. They're not going to be at -1 save. You know, as a Tau, I've got my Riptides. They can sit at the back sometimes until my chaff's all gone. They're going to be on a 2-up in cover. Your bloat drones are not going to kill that, frankly. Like, not at all. And so, yeah, as a ranged faction, we just have a lot better ways to deal with this, because often the stuff we're putting forward is cheap or whatever it might be. Whereas if you're in melee, you're like, okay, I'm always -1 toughness. I'm always -1 to hit or save.
Yep.
It's a bit rough. But kind of going back to what we said before, it does lead to kind of the army being a little bit telegraphed, I would say, sometimes. You know, especially with, like, you know, these units, often poxwalkers, need to walk forward to get in contagion so that I can set up my death shroud. And it's like, okay, I just don't put anything near the poxwalkers that cares.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, yeah, they're sometimes, like, and this is one of the difficulties with like death shroud stuff like that is if people are smart enough about it, they're just going to be able to protect themselves from you. And it's like, again, your poxwalkers, they move 5, so you roll in advance. Maybe you get there. You probably don't know. Like, it's roll a 1, and all of a sudden, you know, you're just not there. So it can be very telegraphed, but that's where positioning with this army is like very, very important. And once once you get the hang of it, it is absolutely manageable. Because you do have the tools with things like infiltrating poxwalkers, like the scouting spawn, bits and pieces, to, if you position it correctly, be able to sort of spring that trap on your opponent when they have to come to play the game. Because that's another thing, you know, using terrain, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it is telegraphed, but also sometimes you put things in a position and say to your opponent, well, you can just sit there and not score, or you can come and play. And then, you know, it's sort of there are ways around it.
Yeah, the Death Guard's job to make it hard for the opponent, but also as the opponent, you need to be like, cool, where can he actually deploy his Death Shroud potentially, or get his contagions out?
Absolutely.
And I guess on the next slide, Lawrence, I've got kind of the impact of the -1 to hit and the -1 to save are the big ones we kind of see all the time. The impact of these debuffs is actually kind of massive. I'm a numbers guy, Tony, I apologize. But like, if you're on a base
I love it.
-1 save is doubling your damage output, effectively. If you're AP 0 into a 2-up save, going to AP 1 is effectively doubling your damage output that you would have done. And so, like, -1 save is, I think, the one that most people take, I think, Tony. Is that correct?
Yeah, pretty much, like, assuming they have an armor save worth worrying about, you're taking it. Like, really, the only army I can think of off the top of my head right now is probably Orcs, where you're not touching it at all. Mids, maybe most of the time as well.
Yep.
But yeah, pretty much everywhere else. If somebody's got a tank, if somebody's got or if there are any marine bodies, sisters, even Eldar, everything's got a 3-up save. So you love that AP.
Yeah. Normally, my rule is Marines or those good in terms of save, as you said, just -1 save. All Xenos -1 to hit because you don't care with their save.
I think a lot of the ones as well is like a lot of. I know when we were playing against my Grey Knights, Lawrence, you took the -1 save, but then it turned out like I'm just on the invulns half the time on a lot of things for all the profiles that you had in particular.
Well, because your list that time was a lot of flamers, so -1 to hit actually doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Well, it's Terminators and Dreadnoughts and stuff, so I love my Terminators. But yeah, -1 to hit seems to be in those some matchups. It can be huge. Less impactful if they've got rerolls, but especially into things that are, you know, like orcs, as you say. Orc shooting is kind of a joke if you can get the hit on 6s, if anyone's ever been able to experience that. I know whenever they're shooting my Ghost Keel, I'm like, all right, bro, hit me on 6s, I guess. But yeah, definitely the -1 save. Yeah, Lawrence, you're static. It's cool. The -1 save, really big, makes your killy profiles extra killy.
Big time.
Yeah, huge difference there. All right, we'll talk a bit more about contagion. I mean, this all kind of comes into the interactions of the army, right? Next slide, Lawrence.
Big time. Big time.
Is DEATHGUARD actually that tough, Tony? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this is a very good point to raise. Yes and no. So it's not the infantry really. Like the Death Shroud, yes, some armies are gonna have a hard time with it. Plague Marines, nobody really has a hard time killing. If they're gonna kill them, they're gonna kill them. But where you can pivot more into that high toughness is you take a Demon Prince, you take Morty, that kind of stuff. Where you do have toughness 12, which is a hell of a breakpoint. Then toughness 12 with a 4-up invo, 5-up feel no pain is a whole new ball game. People will step out and be like, I'm going to activate, you know, whatever. Like a DDA does an average of like 3 damage to Mortarion. Something like that. Like it's by the time you get through like hitting, wounding, me making 4-ups, and then me making 5-up feel no pains, it winds up being like insignificant amounts of damage. And so people will massively overstep to try to kill something like Mortarion or again the Demon Prince, and just not, and then you get to clap back. So that's the sort of place where you can pull a toughness skew a little bit. All your drones do have an invo, so that's also kind of cute. There's times where you know you scam the crap out of someone. They'll be like, "I'll just line up this or this and this and pick up a drone," and you're like, "Well, I'm just going to roll some 5-ups," and you're not. Like it's got the scam potential. They are exactly, especially for that defensive profile.
Yeah,
that's right, and that defensive profile is reasonable.
My Fire Dragon's issue with Morty is what Kyle's saying. Morty will Kyle a lot, but sometimes they don't.
Fire Dragons. Yeah, Fire Dragons are the one that will just do it every time.
Forge. They should be able to do a lot of damage. Not kill him, but 10, 12 wounds.
Even they might go there.
They could if I roll hot.
Definitely.
For me, kindly. But
that's always the thing, right? The coin flip of a 4-up is just kind of rude. Like there's times where again, even things that should get there just bounce, and you're like, oh well, this game's gonna get real hard for you now.
I think that's the thing as well. Even like you say, on the numbers, even on the infantry, it's basically a -1 the wound. It's actually not that hard to line up enough stuff to kill Plague Marines. It's not that hard to line up enough stuff to kill Death Shroud Terminators. They do have a great defensive profile if you're comparing it to like Intercessors, I guess, but it's still 3-up save, 2 wound bodies. You put a bunch of Power Fists or Plasma Guns in there, and you're going to lose most of the squad. Like it's pretty easy to pick up an Intercessor squad. It's not that much harder to pick up a Plague Marine squad. If they do underestimate it, though, you might end up with a couple of Plague Marines left over, or a Death Shroud or 2, and that's when I think DEATHGUARD they love that situation where they someone's underestimated or you rolled a little bit hot on your saves, and then you're just like, well, I've got some Death Shrouds in your lines. They're going to get another round.
Yeah, that's right. It's the overstep, right? It's that kind of thing. And like I guess pairing with that as well. Like I know we'll get onto the detachments in a sec, but like in Feral Victorian, which is really the detachment that's getting played predominantly at the moment, -1 damage is also a factor. Plague Marines, again, less so, because only if you're shooting them with 2 damage does it actually matter. Some armies only have 2 damage, and they have a really bad time. But generally, things will be, at least 3 damage, or people will have an option of a profile that is. But with the Death Shroud, it's quite relevant. And again, with things like Bordy, the Demon Prince, even those drones at times, if you really need them to live, you can pop that -1 damage, and again, all the math just goes out the window all of a sudden, and we're in La La Land. People just aren't ready to account for -1 damage.
I think particularly melee, a lot of melee armies, they do have strength 4 to 8 weapons where these breakpoints are kind of being hit. And then if you hit the -1, they've got a lot of damage too. Blood Angels cry.
Yeah, World Eaters.
World Eaters.
If I could play this army into World Eaters for the rest of my life, I'd be happy. I think it'd be great.
Swords on the charge and Berserker, and then you're cool.
Yeah, it's
5 DFDs, and so I think it's Deathguard resilience. It is kind of a bit more annoying, but you just got to make sure, as the person going into Deathguard, you just got to make sure you kind of take that into account. They're a little bit tougher. Annoyingly tougher. Just make sure you're lining up some extra guns there, I think, or extra fighting charges or whatever. But if you put a bunch of plasmas into them, they're paying for that. Plague Marines are what, 95 for 5, I think, off the top of my head?
95 for 5, 190 for 10, so 10. Yeah, perfect double. Yeah, mostly you're playing... Yeah, mostly you're playing the full size... the full 10 man, and you've got 2 characters in there as well. So it is one of those things where if you make mistakes with it, or if you expose it to things you shouldn't expose it to, you can start to fall apart pretty quickly. But
10-man Plague Marine squad is not resilient. It's T6, but that's not enough. No. It's, I think the full kit, when we talk about later, I think is 300 plus if you got a Rhino in there. It's not durable for that. That's not durable for that cost,
Exactly right.
But, all right, yeah, 6.
That's kind of why it's more the tricks you're capable of.
Exactly, and holding those cards is super important as well, right? Being able to be when we're in virulent, I've got -1 damage. Here it is, get stuffed Power Fist or whatever it might be, or Custodian, Guardian Spears.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's and then all your Plague Marines don't die, or your Death Shroud don't die, and then you're they're going to get another activation. We'll talk about later that Plague Marine brick. It slaps. It hits so hard. Death Shroud, I don't know. Their damage is okay, but they're annoying.
Yeah.
All right.
The 6 inch is the main.
The 6 inch is the big threat, right? Yeah. Detachments. Now, Tony, I know you're a virulent man. Talk to me.
Yeah. At the moment, well, look, virulent's got it all. The biggest one is that detachment rule. I think. Obviously, its stratagems are also quite good, but that's the detachment rule now. Ever since the points nerfs that came post the books being completely outrageous, you really are lacking units. So being able to sticky is it's enormous. Being able to sticky an objective and then move a unit off it, it's just is so handy. And it just lets you do, like I was saying before, be in position to then spread contagion, to then just push a little bit more aggressively. With other detachments, you're just always spending more points on a chaff unit or 2 that go sit on an objective, or bits and pieces that just have to hang back, and you really don't have those points to spare. So I think to me, that is the main thing. Obviously, so -1 damage is incredible. There's times where there's games you play where you're -1 damage is, put me into, made this matchup almost unwinnable for my opponent. You're just saving 2 CP, and you're like you said, Blood Angels, World Eaters, all that sort of stuff. You just sit there being I'm going to make sure I have 2 CP. If I have 2 CP, you don't get to interact. That's fine. They hit.
It's if you're playing into that virulent, you need to think about it. It's no, you've got damage 2 or damage. If you got, I know when I was shooting a Riptide at Lawrence's Death Shroud, it's it's damage 4, he -1 CP is damage 3. Okay, they're not getting 1 tapped anymore. It's if it's hitting those breakpoints, it's just disgusting. It is 2 CP,
and it being, it is expensive. It is, but it being played reactively. As a stratagem, people will, like you said, make that exact mistake of being all right, cool, I'll line up this, I'll line up that onto that unit. And you're all right, no worries, cool, fair enough. And then you hit that minus damage, and all of a sudden it's yeah, the whole activation falls out, and yeah, game gets real hard.
Yeah, and 2 CP is a lot, but I mean, DEATHGUARD has actually one. It's a real Tallyman gives you CP, and I think most lists run 1 something 2, and like it's unlike my Tower Ethereal, it's a reliable CP. It's a leadership check or 6 or 7 up, I believe.
Just a 7 up, yeah, just flat out 7 up. There's no clauses or anything. You just roll 2d6 at the start of your turn, get a 7, you get a CP. Like, happy days.
I think chance, and yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, it's I think 58 or something. I can't remember exactly what the number is. So yeah, someone smarter than me said it to me before, and I said, "Oh, okay, cool."
Yeah, me too.
I just rolled the dice.
No, better than Ethereal.
Yeah,
points. I think having access to that CP generation really enables that -1 damage to just be used every turn, pretty much. Like, I don't think I see many lists without a Tallyman. It's pretty.
No, you're not running around without a Tallyman. It is also the Demon Prince as well, which is very important to remember, because he's got the free strat.
Yeah,
so
he does. Yeah. I haven't seen so many Demon Princes around these days. I've seen mostly like maybe one in the list, because there's that really good enhancement for the 5-up Feel No Pain. But
that's right. Also, again, pretty much only seeing him in Virulent because it's the only place you get that enhancement. But yeah, I mean, I've been playing him quite frequently. Like, most of my lists I've been playing have had him for a little while now. So yeah, I think he's pretty damn solid. Like, also being a lone up, awesome. Again, holding objectives is hard with this army sometimes, so that's a helpful one. But yeah, he helps as well.
Lovely. Oh my god,
it's all good stuff.
But yeah, no, but like, and apart from -1 damage, there's some other great stratagems in there as well. I think, like, auto explode comes up. It's 1 CP auto explode comes up sometimes. Special Mortarian, healing wounds when it's situationally good. Contagion reroll, the full hit and wound rerolls with the Plague Marine squad. Obviously, they love that.
That's the juice. I think that's the other key thing for this is being able to, like, having a unit that just gets out of its rhino, says I want that on the table anymore, and your opponent has to pick it up. It's very nice to have. Oh, gotcha, Lawrence.
Hello. Yes, you got me.
You can talk as well sometimes. Like, you're allowed.
No, I'm fixing this stupid mic. Is it no better?
No, that one's fine.
No, better for us, yeah.
All right, go ahead. Sorry.
You're good.
I know at least one player who loves his Taliban summoners. I know one person who likes Mortarian's hammer. I see Contagion a lot come up in. Like, are these detachments? They're okay.
Yeah, I think they're all perfect. Like, look, champions is fine in teams. Very, like, in a meta where there's enough like melee armies, like it's better into melee armies like orcs, like probably like Drukhari would be a little better into things that aren't like running around with like 1-tap targets for the Plague Marines. So those sort of melee matchups, you probably do want to take champs. So in certain metagames, I think it's very, very viable. Taliban summoners, I haven't actually put it on the table myself. I have been building lists with it for a long time. I think it's really interesting. The main thing that it does is, or the main 2 things that I see in it that look really good to me is it has a stratagem you can put. I think you just put on a Demon Prince because he's got the lone up and whatever else. But you can 6-inch deep strike any Nurgle demon within 12 inches of him. And that's not capped to your turn either, because it's because it's an enhancement and it's only stratagems that get capped. It's a whole thing that I've looked through all the FAQs and I was like, I don't think this actually So
rapid
ingressing Roddy 6 inches is pretty funny.
Yeah, I think I see, like, whenever I've seen Taliban, it's typically to take the Guos and just, like, kind of stat check the opponent a little bit.
Yeah.
With those, like, just huge amounts of toughness, 4-up invulns, and so on and so forth, and just, like, you can't deal with this. But a lot of this, they will be able to, and then Taliban seems like it seems to fall apart there, but...
Yeah, I think so. It does also have access to re-racking Nurglings, which is cool. Yeah. Like, you lose Nurglings, you get to re-rack them. Especially because they can end 6-inch deep strike as well. Like, you just get them back in to be nuisance again. Like Nurglings are incredibly good. They're a very annoying unit to play against, and if you just keep picking them back up, it can get pretty outrageous. So I think there's a few. Yeah, yeah, just board control type stuff. I think there's something there. I haven't had a chance to actually put on the table yet, but maybe.
Yeah, I've seen, and then the Mortarian's Hammer. I know I particularly dislike it because indirect kind of does some mean things to me. But
well, lucky you.
Yeah.
PBC is very expensive, so not a lot of people are actually playing that one.
Yeah, I think it's.
Yeah, I think it's still very reasonable.
Yeah, I think
I think it's a perfectly reasonable attachment.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, losing. Yeah, point and click contagion's great, and but since you cop the PBC and the Death Shroud point increase, that's where things got a little bit awkward for it because that's the two things that want it. And like the list when the book dropped were like 3 fucking units of DST, 3 PBCs. Like it starts to obviously we were in magical fairyland back then, but it is when it had access to all that stuff, it was really good. Now I think it's you're sort of coming back.
Telling your opponent that it's like, yes, I can pick anything to deep strike 6 inches off with my Death Shroud is kind of nasty pasty business. And then you just have to...
And dropping your toughness, adding AP to your PBCs as well from across the board, being like, I'll have a bonus pip of AP and your toughness, 1 less toughness.
That's the
now that indirect looks even nastier.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about the contagion, I guess, is it's -1 save. It's not +1 AP. And that's kind of like... Cool. Even if you're in cover, it doesn't matter. You're still taking that -1 save. And so, PBCs are AP1, I believe.
AP1.
Yeah. So AP2.
You go AP2.
Yeah.
2 damage.
2 damage. It's really annoying. Kills Marines quite well. Yeah, kills Marines perfectly.
Yep.
Strength 8, AP1 or 2. It's a nasty profile. But yeah, Virulent definitely is the one you see the most of. I think the sticky and -1 damage... It's just a lot to give up if you're going into other things. But yeah, the king of the detachments. All right, let's keep going then.
For sure,
Mr. Lawrence. So Mortarion, the king of stinks. I have only played against him once. He didn't do much. He went to the wrong side of the board and kind of didn't deploy very well. He seems good. How good, I'm not sure. Yes. I was just having some fun here, and I was like, how much stuff do I need to kill Mortarion on a 50% chance? And I was like, 59 Intercessors, 27 Hell Blasters, and 15 Fire Dragons. That's in Melter range Fire Dragons as well. They've got all the buffs here. So 15 Fire Dragons on average will get a 50% chance to kill Mortarion in Melter range. 10 Las Chickens with Call Oath. He takes a shit ton of damage. 2 Angrons, if you want to 50-50 it. He's a tough boy. He seems an interesting presence, but can you just chuck him in the middle?
I mean, matchup to matchup, there are certainly times where you will just shove the guy. Like you will sometimes just say to people, "Well, I know you kind of can't," and if you want to, you're going to have to expose a lot. So there is times, but I do think predominantly, at least the way that I've been using him, the way that I think a lot of players are playing him at the moment is that reactive move is kind of the key piece. He is a stick. He has brilliant defensive profiles, but having the opportunity to have a Plague Marine unit hop out of a Rhino, blow something up, and then get back in, as we discussed, they do die. So having them not now die is a huge thing. Even reactive moving Poxwalkers that have infiltrated at the start of the game, and then also the fight on death's fantastic. The shoot back I've not had come up all that frequently, but it is very good. But yeah, all of his Primarch abilities are fantastic. But I do think that reactive move, what it opens up for the army, because it is again a very static army, is pretty awesome. That's probably the thing that pushes him over the line for me.
Fair. Yeah, I think it's a thing where it's like it enables the opponent you have to take into account. If you're playing against Mortarion, okay, he's got a reactive move, or the units nearby him have a reactive move potentially because he's there. Like, I can't just walk up to it and get what I want necessarily, and it just puts people into problematic situations. Again, pretty rough if you're melee and you want to charge the guy, but
terrible, right? Like that's the place where it's probably its most valuable, and using it on WTC boards, I think as well. Like if you once you find those little nooks and whatever else where you can pop plague marines out and be like, well, I've cut the long range line, I've given you the short range line, but you have to come over this wall to get there. And once you come over that wall, you trigger my reactive, and I'll get back in my rhino anyway. So you can put people in some really awkward positions where again they're not able to take advantage of killing your 300 odd point main damage dealing unit. So yeah, that's definitely the biggest thing with him. But yeah, again, as a beat stick, he's fantastic. And there are matchups where you're just like, okay, I'm gonna push Morty to the middle because you can't do anything about it. So yeah, he's got a few pieces of utility.
Fine. I think his damage output on his own is fine. It's not great. It's not bad. His sweep is actually kind of good.
The sweep is really
crazy.
fantastic. 15 attacks, sustained lethal. That's actually bonkers.
It's just like
with 822 is a great profile too.
Yeah, 822 is a great profile. I mean, whatever it's sweeping into his -1 toughness. There is a bunch of T9 vehicles going around as well, which kind of, funnily enough, makes the sweep actually pretty efficient into that times. I remember when we were going.
Yeah, that's awesome as well.
So I was like, is the sweep just better into like tough targets sometimes?
Honestly, it is what I probably use most of the time. Very rarely use that strike. The strike is like what five attacks, 14, 3 D6 plus 1.
Dev wounds.
Yeah, dev wounds, lethals.
Yeah, with devs. Yeah, I don't think I've ever rolled one of those in my life, so it's fine.
His shooting is fine. It's like a bit whatever, I think personally. So it's like you could. I honestly, because I remember when I was playing against him, I was like, okay, he's going to shoot into my asset. I don't think he's actually going to kill it. He's not even going to half health it. Like, I can just leave him over in this corner, and he's just going to have to walk all the way over. Why is he 5 attacks?
You can.
Someone in chat is asking why is he 5 attacks.
5 attacks.
Look, again, I don't...
8 attack.
Yeah, I don't think his output is necessarily like when you look at his Primarch abilities, I do understand why his output is not quite there. Because it's like really he is a utility piece, and yeah, it would be nice. It would be lovely to have 7 or 8 attacks, but I do think it's reasonable enough balance wise because he could get pretty out of control if you could like if you had him just rushing up the board at things and stuff like that. I think if his output was good enough to do that, he would be really problematic for some games, for some armies.
I guess it's also he also offers the question of like, well, do I try and kill Morty or do I just divert resources elsewhere? And like, if he's sitting on the midfield and it's like, he's probably going to be scoring the objective or keeping things off it, and it's just like, okay, do I have to? What am I committing to kill this bloody guy? And then
well, that's another huge play you can make with him.
You can get -1 damage.
Yeah, there are times where you will just push him to the middle and like again against certain armies and just say like, I'm going to stick you this objective. So you can come and interact with me, or you can just let me stick here, and then next turn, like by the time you've repositioned so that you've got the right guns on me, I'm gonna have walked away again. So now it's like, would you throw a unit away to auto see me? Like you can start to really he's just a nice utility piece. He's very reactionary to the game state. Whilst also unlocking the Plague Marine unit to be at its peak.
Yeah, that's fair. That interaction with the Plague Marine unit is actually a very good point. I hadn't actually thought about that, not going to lie. Speaking of Plague Marines, Lawrence.
Yes.
I know you're Mr. Death Shroud in this conversation. Next slide, mate. You're Mr. Death Shroud in this. I know you love your Death Shroud. I know
we love
you're
our
a
Death
huge
Shroud.
fan of your Death Shroud. I think Tony sounds like a Plague Marine man. Argue the case, Lawrence. Convince me. Convince Tony why a Death Shroud the way to go.
All right. Well, I mean, DST is just what do you call this one? Output-wise, really better, and also defensively. They have 4-up invuln, and then if they are led by the Lord of Contagion, the Lord of Contagion will be able to leave probably another turn if you expose them. And then because of Contagion, you can deep strike 6 inches. And then if you're playing Plague Marines, actually, you really always need to go hand-in-hand with Morty. Death Shroud, you don't care. Right? And then Death Shroud combo is what? 160 points plus 120?
280.
280.
Yeah.
when you do 10-man Plague Marines with double leader plus Rhino, that's 300 plus already. So
Yeah.
and most of the time, I roll good 4-ups. So I don't need that.
And you've never failed a 6-inch
5-up
charge
from
in your
Plague
life,
Marines,
Lawrence, have
right?
you?
Yeah.
So
I
think
always
that's my
fail
case for
6-inch
Death
charges, and I can't roll 4-ups.
Yeah, that's the key.
So-
Well, Lawrence has his
That's
skill
why-
set, and it's not a Plague Marine skill set.
Just think so.
He's built for 4-ups.
Yeah.
But 6-inch deep strikes, they
Yeah,
do fail
look-
sometimes. Like,
Yeah, that's a killer. And generally the Death Strap will drop in, charge something, kill it, and then usually die with a lot of contagion being left, which is decent, but he's not that scary once he's by himself.
thing that scares me more, because it's like, okay, the unit's going to go into something and they can do their damage. That's fine, and the Lord of Contagion adds a lot of damage, to the unit.
Crazy amount of damage.
It's like it's kind of like, would you consider taking him without the Lord of Contagion? I don't know.
No, not at the points they're at now. I've actually, my hot take is I think that they should essentially swap the points for the unit of Death Shroud and the Lord of Contagion. Because the unit of Death Shroud themselves, they're 6-inch deep strike, but their output's like kind of mid. Maybe not fully swap the points, but the Lord of Contagion should be like 150, 160, and then the Death Shroud should be like 130, 140. And then you've got this 3-man unit. You could actually take it as a skirmishing unit. Like, I would love to take it as a skirmishing unit. I think that would be great fun. But yeah, as it stands, you spend 160 points and you. Yeah, maybe look, that might be a little cheap, but even 150, like, the Lord of Contagion. Once you're at 160, you actually just have to take him. Otherwise, I just don't think you get enough value from the unit. Or I suppose you can put them with a lot of virulence. I've seen people doing that as well, which is
I also do
reasonable enough.
Feels
that's perfectly reasonable. But yeah, then they're not doing that much. They're just sort of bodyguards, like more than anything else at that point.
The Lord of Contagion, I feel like
expensive bodyguard unit.
getting to use him another turn typically, and then just having another unit there to be really, really annoying. Like, it's so annoying as the opponent where you're just like, all right, I've got to set up a unit that can deal with this guy. Has Tony talked about his warped sun who melted in Uprising?
Yeah. I had a drone. I had a drone come back from Uprising a little bit worse for wear. The heat on the drive home was not good.
And who the hell is this guy in the middle? He makes me feel funny in my pants.
Hello, Mr. Adam.
But yeah, the Lord of Contagion, being able to reuse him on the second turn, so annoying. Like, you just like, especially for me as Tau in particular, it's like single phase army, gets back up on death. I need to deploy in a way that, like against Lawrence when I played you last, I literally charged 10 Kroot in to the Lord of Contagion after he got back up because I was like, she shouldn't kill them on average, and I just want him to be stuck there next turn and not charge anything else in my army, or I tie him up with a riptide or whatever it is, because I'm just like, he's gonna be active in my next turn. I don't want him charging something or tying me up or doing whatever he wants to do, spreading his stupid contagion around. Go shower, dude! Like, he's so annoying.
Yeah, the unit's definitely pretty damn solid. It's just the damage is probably not as high as you'd like it to be. I think is the biggest issue. Like, more so in this metagame, I think, more than anything else. Where the game is right now, they hit a Catan and kind of do nothing. Like they hit even a lot of like the key units that are around in the game at the moment. It's like, okay, there they are. I guess they might not kill you back. That's kind of cute, but at the same time, by the next turn they will have, and then you've sort of done nothing. So yeah, I think that's kind of the big issue that they have is just getting their value. And again, sometimes you just don't roll a 6-inch charge. I've done it with reroll.
I think on math it's about 1 in 10 games, 1 in 10 6-inch charges with a reroll, you'll fail.
I failed a lot of 6-inch charge. I still love them.
Yeah. I mean, the problem is if you fail that 6-inch charge, you just feel bad, right? You sit in the open typically and you're like, cool, I guess I just die.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
There's my 280 points. You can have it.
Yeah. Well spent. At least I might have the Lord of Contagion up, I guess.
Yeah, at least you'll be getting back up. That's right. You can't charge him down, at least.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
all right.
That's true.
Tony, Mr. Plague Marines over here. Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Why they're busted?
Yep. I mean, Definitely think that I mean, Lawrence is 100% right. You have to pay a lot of points because you got to have Morty to set him up. You got to have all the characters, all the bits and pieces. But the amount of things, like the amount that unit does, even just as a threat projection, like you basically have your opponent measure like 20 inches around that rhino, and you're like, cool, you can't come in here. This is my space. You stage it behind a wall. Naturally, you be very careful not to get it shot at. But once it's in a position you want it, and you're just like, cool, this is my threat projection. You can't come in here. And then as you're putting pressure with other parts of your army, like again, we're slow. We struggle to be in position. So you've projected the threat in that area. It means that everything else can sort of walk out to where it needs to be now, right? And you can start to just slowly advance yourself your way up the board. And then the output is absolutely ridiculous. Like crit 5 sustained lethals in virulent, it's with reroll hits and wounds on shooting. In champs, you can do it on either phase. They could be kitted pretty well with either way, either for shooting or for fighting. I think the shooting variant is much better, especially with virulent and everything else. But I mean, even beyond as you've actually mentioned here, beyond the malignant putrefy build, you can always take a Fell Blightspawn, which defights first, and also his other ability is like sneaky good. I haven't had a chance to put it on the table much, but
very good.
Turning off, not letting them advance within 9 inches of you is like kind of crazy. Like that you can do some awesome stuff with that. And the other one I've tested and played a little bit is the Lord of Poxes. The Lord of Poxes, the new one from that came with the book. Yeah, he gives the unit loan off. He's a beat stick himself, and he also increases his contagion range by 3 inches. So he's creating a bigger bubble. And he's an awesome little beat stick. And again, 18-inch loan off's kind of cute. Like there's a few things you can do with Plague Marines. Like you can run smaller units with that are just like 5 fighty dudes, stuff like that. So yeah, there's a fair bit of flexibility in the unit. But I think at the moment the main thing is just the big unit, and I think it's just the damage is just too good, and the threat that they project is just too valuable. I think right now for the army to not be leaving home without them.
Yeah, would you say that package kind of has to go with Mortarion typically, or like that combos out, or is it can be run without Morty?
Yeah, I think you could go without Morty, but you're just gonna have a much harder time getting that value out of it. I think.
Sorry, no, you finished. Actually, I've interrupted.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. I think it's too hard. I think it's much more difficult to play it without Morty, and you're just not gonna get the value for them sometimes.
They do just die, and for their point,
that's the problem, right?
You just look at them. I remember the first time I encountered the fight's first one actually, and I was playing my Grey Knights, and I was like, all right, I can't charge it. I guess I'll just deep strike outside and then shoot a bunch of strength 6 flamers and a bunch of bolters or whatever it is, and mine bullets. And then I was like, oh, most units dead. Like,
cool. They're gone all of a sudden, and you're like, oh,
it's easy. I think there's
definitely
2 left, and I was like, all right, now I'll try the charge, and then didn't make it, so who cares? But like that unit does nothing now.
That's right. You can definitely cripple them. I mean, even 2 or 3 Plague Marines with the characters in virulent is kind of nuts because you still pop reroll hits and wounds with crit 5s, and like you'll be running around later in the game and just be like, I've got 4 dudes here that are just gonna like blow up any unit you've got left. So again, you can battle, you can stick around.
That's fair. If they've still got the important guns or weapons left, I guess they still hurt. Scriv paints, LOC is horrible to deal with. Plague Marines seem much harder to play well. Destroyed many 10-mans by just swarming the Rhino of gargoyles or just locking them inside all game of chaff. That's true. If you can just surround the Rhino, I guess.
If you can't.
Yeah.
But that's usually pretty hard to do, I guess. I don't know.
That's why you have Morty, reactive move.
Reactive move, yeah.
It's hard.
Morty is babysitting that Rhino a lot of the time, especially in the early game. If somebody wants to do something cheeky, like try and wrap it, you're just like, I'll heroic with my 15 8/2/2 attacks.
True. Yeah.
So you still want to wrap my Rhino, right?
My children. They're inside.
Yeah. No, the good thing also with the Plague Marine package is obviously you have more OC.
That's huge.
You only
as well.
have 4 OC, so that's the problem with the Death Shroud. So
Death Shroud,
you don't care. Oh, you exploded my Rhino, then the Plague Marines will drop down to the objective. Even if you put your Tyrannies, your Guard, I have 20 OC here, 24 to be exact. So
Yep.
And I think
that's
I
a
guess
good
that
thing with
Well,
Plague
plus the biologist, if you've killed something, the biologist also gets a bonus plus 6 OC.
Plus,
so
yes, plus
you can have like 30 OC in that unit.
I
I
think
did
the
that in
con-
the New South Wales Teams event, so I was able to kill the 20 Zogrod unit, and then he was able to charge the scout, and then I killed them all. So I said, my character is now plus 6 OC, so he's already 7 OC just by himself.
Yeah, yeah, that's a nice little trick when that comes up.
Terminator is only one OC, excuse me, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, which is
Just one apiece.
that's just rough.
Yep.
Like the
Yeah,
whole unit,
including the
4
character too.
Mm.
Yeah, exactly. 4 OC on the unit. You're just like, all right, I still hold the objective, even if you
Yeah,
kill the front unit, I still hold it at the back. Cool. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if you're all DST and you run into fucking DK Lords of Dread, and they hit you with a I'm sticking this for OC5, you're like,
I can't.
okay, that's you can keep it, take it home with you.
True. I guess that is a good point in that Plague Marines feel much harder to play, and that kind of goes into like Death Shroud. It's harder to screw them up. If you screw up the if you screw up the Plague Marines and you lose that unit, especially, it's a big chunk of your army, massive chunk of your output typically, that's going down the drain, and that's a pretty sad time. And it's probably actually if you do screw it up majorly, might just be kind of game losing on the spot, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's been times where it's been that simple. I've gotten something wrong, and I've just you lose a Plague Marine unit, you're like, okay, I'm gonna have to dig very deep here to get even get some diff points out of this one. That unit, especially if you overextend with it early, it can get pretty out of control.
Yeah, Carl says that's very consistent with the high skill cap armies. Yeah, and I think this kind of more play but less forgiving. Yep, I kind of agree that definitely feels like as you get into
guys, I will just interrupt you for a bit because Battle is out.
Oh,
yeah. So we finish this one first, and then maybe let's
all right. Let's wrap this up real quick. All the viewers don't care. Oh my god!
Wow. Yep. Interesting. That was a sneak attack.
Holy. Yeah. I'm actually so happy. All right, let's go to the next slide. Then we can. Who cares?
No,
Right,
well, good. So announcement now, most likely for the squad games. Then we have a Dazzling. So I think we have to say goodbye to the Necrons.
I don't know.
We'll see. We still don't know. Go ahead.
We can chat about that at the end. But really quickly, then we'll wrap this up. There's more important things.
Let's.
The 2 firing support units. I see them in most lists. The bloat drones, most of the heavy blight launchers. Lawrence, a fan of the flamers, I know, but I'm not.
No, I gave up already.
You've given up, sweet. And then bloat drones with the blight launchers, and then the blight haulers. A lot of blight going around. They seem fine. I don't think they're a good shooting piece. They're not a bad shooting piece by any means. They're just fine. And I think you kind of need.
They're still cheap.
Yeah, they're cheap and durable for what they are.
Yeah,
you just.
I think. Yeah, I think you're at minimum 2 in most lists for the heavy blights. I think they're just good enough. They cover a firing lane for you. They do a bit of damage. Sometimes they kill stuff. Sometimes they don't. But then they wound whatever you want to charge with in Death Shroud. Let you split fire with your Plague Marines, etc. There's like a whole bunch of little bits of use for them. So yeah, I think they just on auto take.
I'm like, I know that that one bloat drone that's going to be able to see me is not going to kill my shooting piece or my threat or whatever it is. So it's like, yeah, it might take some wounds. And so sometimes I'm like, I don't need to be scared of them, I guess. Even 2 shooting into one of my units in cover, or whatever it might be.
Yeah,
sometimes
very unlikely.
It might chip wounds out. So sometimes you kind of can disrespect them, I might say.
Absolutely, yeah.
But they are still super useful. They are, bloat drones especially, sometimes they'll just, kill Terminator bricks. But yeah, they're an important piece of the army, but definitely you don't need to respect them sometimes a lot if you're going into Death Guard. You can, if you got your Dawn, you're probably not worried too much about a stupid bloat drone for heavy blight launcher. Death Guard doesn't have amazing shooting. Most of the Death Guard lists aren't running a heap of shooting, and even the Mephitic blight launchers and blight haulers, whatever they're called.
Mephitic blight hauler.
Mephitic blight hauler. I had to look up what the word mephitic meant because I was actually not sure if it's a real word. It is a real word, apparently.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So what's the meaning?
It is. It's like bringing noxious gases. Effectively, it's like hauling, stinks. It literally hauling farts around the fart cart. And I'm like, that's a real word. All right, let's wrap this up, and then we can look at the data slate.
Yeah, I'll show you the data slate.
Yeah, so I guess when you're going into a matchup, Tony, and this for people at chat at home as well, what's your first thought when you're going into a lot of matchups? What's your overall approach?
Look, it's control your primary, play the triangle, control your primary in the middle. Make sure you find the staging points for that runner for the Plague Marines. It's whether you can push them with Poxwalkers, whether you can't, that kind of stuff. It's just basically about how easily am I going to control my primary.
Fair. What about you, Lawrence?
Well, if you have infiltrate, you need to roll first, and then obviously block the Foxy infiltrate.
Yeah, well, win the roll.
That's also one important thing to do.
And
because
then
if they go first, they would actually put all the Foxes already, and
65 points they're annoying.
Try to take the board control.
And then this is the one that I'm going to make a weekly theme, thanks to our Zia question from last week. If you could change one data sheet in the Codex, what would it be? Tony first, or Lawrence, if you know one off the top of your head. What's one thing you would like to see useful?
I want Typhus to also be auto-take. Because he's 100 points. He has good ability, but maybe change. I think we put some feel no pain to him as well. So at least,
Typhus,
yes. So at least I would be very tempted to at least put him back in my list.
Would you like him to just go down or do you think he needs a rewrite? Sorry.
If he got cheaper again, back to 90, you'd probably see him. I think because that's you often have Death Guard lists that sit at you wind up with 90 points left, so you end up taking Spawn because it's the only fucking thing you can take. So I think people would start taking Typhus again in that case. But yeah, no, I think he should just be a little bit. He should be doing more than he's like a shitty character. We've got so many better characters. For me, I think Blightlord Terminators. It'd be nice to see. I think some of their weapon profiles need either. I don't know exactly what it looks like, but just to be a little bit better than the Plague Marine versions. Because at the moment you pay 380 points for the unit, which is the same as the Plague Marines with the double character. And they're doing the same thing. They shoot well. They do exactly the same thing as Plague Marines. They're just less efficient. So, yeah, I'd like to see them diversify a little bit, where you could take a 5-man or something cute like that.
Yeah. I sometimes see the Blight Lords walking around in just big tanky units, but their damage output seems
Yeah, it's fine. They're good because they got a 2-up, 4-up. They're a bit tougher than Plague Marines. You can still reactor move with Morty, so you can do cute things with that, but
Yeah. And then finally, what's your pre-event? I said self-care here. What's your pre-event self-care routine? Lawrence, I know. Or Tony.
Yeah.
Mine's a shower, brush my teeth, make sure doing okay.
Yeah. Bed early the night before. Try to force something down for breakfast because I don't really eat breakfast usually, but I have to find it does help a lot when I'm not starving in the last half an hour of the first month.
Make sure I
I should get onto that. I'll come find you next event. Actually, now I know where to look.
I'm always
I'm getting hungry.
Snacks and muesli bars and stuff. I'm like, oh. And the other thing is drink heaps of water. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Breakfast, shower, brush the teeth, and then pack all my stuff. Alrighty.
Yep.
Thanks for that.
That's cool. Do you want guys to actually go through the data slate if you want?
We can have a quick
slate up.
All right, I'll put that in the. Give me 1 second. Let's just change something here. So.
Hot off the press. The hottest off the press. Oh my god.
Yes.
Wait,
all right,
what?
let's have this one now.
Right. I'm already I went straight to my faction. I'm just like, what is GW doing?
Can you see right?
What have they done here?
Stealth suits went down 10 points.
What?
Hey.
So
Towers
which
already
one you want to go first? The MFM?
I'm just looking for at the MFM, I guess. But
Okay, let's do
I'm,
looks
MFM.
like-
there.
Necrons, Star Shadow lost a bunch of their interactions with Catan.
Let's
And-
just
and
quickly
Necrosaur
see
lost.
what are the... Oh, the guard went up by 10 points, so no more spamming student guards. Eldari, what's this one? Can't see actually.
They pretty much
Oh, Mr.
Catan-
Asserman.
They pretty much removed everything that buffed them outside of the data sheets that went up. They all went up 10 points.
Rate Blade, Rate Guard, Rate Lord went down by 10 points. Guard. Oh, Dorn also went up. Oh, sorry. Yep. By 10 and 15 points. Black Templars, Third Squad went down by 10 for the big man.
Catan didn't get nerfed as hard as I thought.
I've got the rules up here. There's a little bit in here too. They've
Okay, cool.
well, it's not a direct nerf to Catan, but the Silent King now excludes monsters from his reroll ones to hit and wound, which is pretty damn relevant.
Yeah.
And then yeah, same for the add strength, and yeah, same for the add move. So he now excludes monsters. That's the
Tony.
change that they.
The Demon Prince with Wings for DG went down by 15 points.
I don't even know what he does.
I also don't know. Drukari, a couple of units also went down. Rax,
I don't think we've ever played him.
Monculus.
GK untouched.
Oh,
okay,
easy.
so we
I
got-
told you, bro. Flawless Blade, now 200 points for 6. Maybe I'll be running them.
Tormentors down in big
That is
splits.
fun.
Tormentors
Yeah.
also went down.
Oh, that's so sad for Flawless Blades.
Sorry. What's this one?
Yeah, that is the only rule change, by the way, that I've seen at least. I just had a quick glance.
For the Necrons, yes.
It's
I
the
felt
Silent
like-
King rule change. That's the only rule change.
All right. Who's this?
That
Knights
makes me think Necrons will still be very good.
went down. Photon.
I think so.
Necrons, a lot of things went up. Catan by
But not
10
by
points
much.
each.
10 points.
Yeah.
That army still seems really good.
Mr.
like-
Dinosaur, 20 points. Yeah.
That
Most of the
and he
Catan are
lost-
10 points. Dinosaur is 20.
Not gonna lie, I'm a little bit underwhelmed. At
All
that
of
change.
the enhancement for the Pantheon also went up.
Custodian Guard went up.
Yep. So no more 27 Custodian Guard, I would assume.
That'd be nice.
Oh, lucky. The Lieutenant with Combi finally also went up by 15.
Oh my
Finally.
god!
How long
Like-
has he been sitting
It's almost rude to do it in like the last slate of the edition.
Yeah.
It's like a middle finger to what we've had to deal with.
The Rep X Wardens
Oh,
also went
goodness.
up 15 and 10 points respectively. Space Wolves, nothing. Tau. Well, Starsuit only went down by 10. Good
That
for
seems
you,
wrong.
sir.
Yeah, I know.
I have
I'm happy.
20
about it.
points
He gets 30
more.
points back. Or 20 points, excuse me. That's
Suns, nothing. Just the Demons. Needs
Yeah.
also nothing.
It's untouched.
Oh, what's that? I don't think.
Faction pack for Tyranids.
Oh, these are already legends.
Data sheet, yeah, right.
So, like those faction packs with Tau, what was that actually?
That's the twin. That's twin.
Oh, they
lance.
just added the.
They got actually, yeah, true. What's the points of him? Is he in?
Oh yeah, one second.
That's huge.
That's the one everyone's been thinking of.
Yep.
Where are we?
Oh yeah, Kairos and a lot
I'm
of
gonna
change
put
went
it
up.
as green.
How to refresh
Twin
this
lance,
one?
160.
160?
160.
What? No.
That
It's
is
like 200.
That's what it's
come
in
on.
as. 160. If you search, that is criminal. I'm a Tau player.
What?
That is not fair.
That's about 90 points under what they're worth.
Well, it's the release, so
That's not okay. They need
Yeah.
to emergency fix that. That's
When's their actual release?
that's a good
Like this
maybe.
week?
question. I've seen a few sneaky live reveals, I guess I could say. But yeah, I don't know. Soon, I guess now. I guess because it's up.
No, have they been like announced like for the pre-order?
I don't know. Someone in chat might know, but yeah, that's criminal. That's actually just
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so it's
pretty.
just a
That's
tweet
pretty next
article.
level.
cracked. Tau is
One
is Tau just the best faction?
160.
man?
What do you mean?
Like-
best faction?
Well,
I mean,
Tau's-
Necrons are still probably
Necrons
still
will be
pretty
up.
good.
Tau's got a
I
good
don't think
matchup. I feel though, so
Yeah, absolutely.
you got a good matchup into Marines. I don't know who else I'm worried about really. I was already confident into nearly like most of my matchups.
So I would show you
I thought
also
this-
one thing with this twin lens, bro.
Oh, bro.
All right.
Yeah,
Oh,
we were
it's
just
too
talking
big.
about that, Matt.
You see, he has one extra attack, AP4, D6 plus 2.
Yeah, that's his melter. That's his melter gun. Because it's in melee. It's D6 plus 2, bro.
But
he's shooting-
AP4. Morty
Yep.
is AP3.
Yep.
And this is just extra attack.
It's on fours. But all their like a lot of their guns they're just in melee, so they've got -1 to hit. Yeah, I know. I know, Matt. Don't worry. I'm looking at it, and I'm disgusted. I am absolutely disgusted by that. And
So
I'm the
go
one
and
who-
grab your twin lance, and then maybe it's legal for squad
Yeah.
games. I don't know.
Yeah, has anyone got a twin lance lying around that I can use for by next weekend or the weekend after? Excuse me. No, I feel like I have strong feelings about that. I feel it could be a little bit unfun at that point level, that unit.
Yeah.
But if they're still
That-
if
that
Katana
is-
as they are still, then stuff them.
Well, not really
Yeah,
much
that's it.
changes for the rules. It's just, as Tony said, the Silent King, and then the rest are just points. So,
Yeah. You won't see the Star Shadow builds as much, I don't think.
You'll still see a lot of. I think 2 in Awakened is still probably going to be very common. Pantheon's still going to be very common and strong.
Yep.
I think. In like
I mean, Awaken's
mid-table.
going to be basically exactly like Awaken's just going to be the best way to play it. I mean, for teams at least, which is
Yeah,
what I
especially for
mostly
teams.
think about. But yeah, you're just taking Awakened and just putting a fucking Katana or 2 in there and saying, ship it, sign it, seal it, send it. Like, what the
GW
fuck?
approved. GW approved. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's right. The stamp bonk.
This is what the game is.
Oh goodness.
Cry harder.
That's yeah. I mean, like I like the Awakened builds the best. Like from externally, obviously I don't play Necrons, I don't know. So, but yeah, looking at it externally, looking at it from a pairing standpoint too, I always want the Awakened list. Like much
Yeah.
more than I want to pair
I mean,
with the
like
other ones.
that's the stable list, or like the 10-10
Yeah,
list.
it's safe as houses, and then you get matchups where they can't handle it, and
Yeah.
it can go pretty nuts. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
Brady's saying
especially when you throw a Katana in there.
Brady says in chat he thinks the Pantheon is dead. I think potentially there's still a lot of exploring to do in that detachment. Like this is just on release and everyone's just like take 5 Katans or 4 Katans and whatever it is. And I still think that detachment does do stuff other than just like spam Katans. So I think it's like we
No,
haven't
that's
even
a
got
Catan detachment.
yeah, we haven't even got, but the detachment also interacts with like non-Catan units, right? And so I think that detachment's got potentially more, like Necrons have more depth to figure out how depraved they can get. And now that's GW approved, maybe till the end of the edition, unless they emerge. I kind of think if they don't emergency patch Twin Lance and potentially,
Yeah,
I
that
don't know.
seems.
Well,
seems-
they will let you run first for a couple of months, and then 11th edition will be announced also very soon. So
Yeah, soon.
maybe you'll escape.
I mean, I hope for the general public that Twin Lance is not something that it seems kind of. Maybe it won't be as bad as we say. Maybe it won't be as bad, but on the current data sheet,
Right,
it looks like if I'm able to move potentially 4 times in a battle round, like maybe 5 times if
Well,
I
I
charge.
think that one would be FAQ'd because that was the same ability of the jet bike before, the Custody one. So you need to have fought first in order for you to trigger those reactive or whatever additional movement.
Yeah. Oh well.
All right,
Stand-
so
Games
I think
Workshop
hope you guys enjoy the discussion with Anthony and obviously the Death Guard, which is also my favorite faction as of now. So if you want to try your new points, we have an RTT this coming Friday. Still have slots, so come and join and say hi. So you can also practice your probably list for the squad games.
Can I proxy Twin Lens there? Is that okay?
Yes, but you are not yet paid, so you buy a ticket now, and then I would register you already. All right. Any more parting words from you, Anthony?
Thanks for having me. Yeah, this was great fun.
No,
Until you guys get to.
What's a faction you'd love to see on the stream? Talk it in chat if anyone's interested.
I'm gonna say sisters. I would love to hear somebody talk about sisters.
I don't know who could you possibly be talking about?
Well, we had Xenos the first episode. This time is Chaos, so probably we do some loyalists in the next fortnight.
We'll see what the people vote for.
Yes, we'll have another what do you call this one? Poll. But in the meantime, tomorrow, me and Carl would be discussing something about the 11th edition. Things that you wanted to see, you wanted to keep from 10th edition, you wanted to be removed, things like that. So obviously, we would also show some work in progress hobby. So catch us out for tomorrow. Other than that, any more thing from you also, Ed?
No, I think that's all good. I'm kind of shocked about this. I'm fairly shocked about this. I thought my army was going to go up, and I feel like it should have, in all fairness. And to see it go down, I'm like, fair.
Well, as of now, they think it's just Necron, which is the problem. So
no, they didn't go up that much either. Yeah. So I think the meta is going to be, wow. Yeah. We'll see.
Fairly similar. We'll see.
Unfortunately, yeah.
All right. So I think, yeah, thanks for
you're very welcome.
gracing us your presence, Mr. Anthony, and thanks as always, Ed. So we'll see you again in the next fortnight. So we'll put in a poll. Other than that, good night and see ya.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.